United youngsters train alongside Ronaldo ahead of pivotal Arsenal clash. Manchester United have been pictured training ahead of Thursday night's Premier League clash against Arsenal at Old Trafford. Following back-to-back away games in charge against Villarreal and Chelsea, caretaker manager Michael Carrick will be given the opportunity to lead the team at the Theatre of Dreams. The club's former midfielder will have some big decisions to make in his first and probably only home game in charge. After making the bold call of starting Cristiano Ronaldo on the bench against Thomas Tuchel's side on Sunday, Carrick will have to decide whether the 36-year-old deserves a recall. Under-23s defender Bjorn Hardley joined the first-team training session on Tuesday at Carrington and was in the same 8-a-side team as Ronaldo, alongside fellow youngsters Anthony Elanga and Ahmad. With 10 goals from 13 starts so far this season, Ronaldo is undoubtedly United's top goalscorer, but Carrick opted for a more dynamic and youthful forward line at Stamford Bridge. Club captain Harry Maguire is back available after serving a one-game suspension, following his red card against Watford, in what was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last game in charge of the Reds. Eric Bailly came into the side against the Premier League leaders and performed well alongside Victor Lindelof. Alongside Phil Jones, Mason Greenwood was back on the bench against the Blues after being out with COVID-19, but it remains to be seen whether Luke Shaw and Edinson Cavani are available against Mikel Arteta's side. Manchester United team news v Arsenal, Harry Maguire available after suspension. Manchester United usually release a team update a day before the manager holds his press conference ahead of the next match. The biggest update from today via manunited.com is that Harry Maguire will be available for Thursday night's match against Arsenal, after serving a one-game suspension for his red card against Watford, which won't come as a surprise to anyone who keeps track of matters concerning United. Maguire missed the 1-1 draw at Chelsea but is back in the frame again. However, it could be argued that Eric Bailly deserves to retain his place in the side since the skipper has performed abysmally all season. Luke Shaw, Paul Pogba, Edinson Cavani and Raphael Varane were all unavailable against Chelsea, when Phil Jones was named among the substitutes. Mason Greenwood returned to the squad after testing positive for COVID-19 and could look to make his first appearance under Michael Carrick. Jadon Sancho took the headlines last week and he'll be hoping to make a name for himself at Old Trafford with a third goal in as many games for the club. It will be the first game since Ralf Rangnick was appointed interim manager. However, it looks like Carrick will take charge from the dugout due to work permit issues. The German coach must meet a Football Association-appointed independent panel before a permit is approved. Michael Carrick set to take charge versus Arsenal with Ralf Rangnick arrival put on hold. There are growing fears that new interim boss Ralf Rangnick won't be in the dugout for Thursday's home clash with Arsenal when Manchester United look to return to winning ways in the Premier League. The Gunners are currently ahead of us in the table, so getting a win would be enough to set us on our way with or without Rangnick, as there is a chance he won't even be in the hot seat to face Crystal Palace on Sunday. According to the Daily Mail, club staff were told at Carrington on Monday that Rangnick is unlikely to be in charge until the end of the week, while the 63-year-old waits for his permit to be approved. It is understood that Brexit has led to a delay in these proceedings, although COVID-19 restrictions haven't made it any easier. A club spokesman told the Mail, "We are working calmly and carefully to secure a visa for Ralf in line with all relevant regulations and protocols. These are processes which have to be followed and we are doing so as swiftly as possible. It's far from ideal that this delay exists because we want Rangnick to come in as soon as possible to implement his methods." United appeared to press a lot better against Chelsea on Sunday, and you'd hope that the coaches have already been in touch with the German. Moreover, this could see Carrick take over for at least one more match, maybe two, just when he thought he was finished with an unbeaten record as caretaker boss following a win over Villarreal and a draw at Premier League leaders Chelsea. Manchester United expect Ralf Rangnick in the dugout against Crystal Palace. Michael Carrick will take charge of the team on Thursday night against Arsenal, while Ralf Rangnick is forced to wait for his work permit to be approved. We suspect the German coach will have a big influence on the starting 11 versus the Gunners, though he will be watching this one from the director's box. According to the Manchester Evening News, Rangnick is expected to be in the dugout for Sunday's Premier League clash against Crystal Palace, when he will take charge of his first game in England. Despite claims from ESPN suggesting that Rangnick would have to wait until mid-December to fully take charge, the German arrived in the UK before the new travel restrictions kicked in on Tuesday morning. This means he will be free to start work at Carrington as soon as his visa is granted, though he must stand before the Football Association first. The Athletic's Adam Crafton nailed it on Twitter when he said, "These delays to Rangnick just underline further the weirdness of Musk standing by Solskjaer after the City game. Probably 3 weeks a new manager could have had by the time he finally arrives." This is far from ideal, and I think most United fans agree that they left Solskjaer in charge for a little too long. The board backed Solskjaer because, like a lot of us, they wanted to see him turn it around. Manchester United fans plan Ole Gunnar Solskjaer tribute for Arsenal clash. Manchester United fan group Stretford End Flags has announced that a surfer flag will be spread across the Stretford End to pay tribute to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was recently dismissed as manager after a run of terrible results. When it finally looked like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's path to progress stopped, the Glazers pulled the plug and fired the Norwegian, only to appoint Ralf Rangnick as interim manager until the end of the season. United fans still adore Solskjaer, who will forever be seen as a club legend, after his efforts to help improve the team over the last 3 years. That is why SEF is planning to play tribute to him this weekend, and we wholeheartedly back the idea. In a tweet, they explained, "And while we welcome a new manager to Old Trafford, we will pay tribute to the departing one on Thursday. Ole was a legendary player and he progressed the club as a manager. We never got to thank him properly, so we will put the 20 Legend Surfer flag out on the Stretford End." Rangnick is unlikely to be welcomed by the Old Trafford faithful on Thursday night for Arsenal's trip up north due to delays with his work permit approval. That means Michael Carrick is likely to stand in, like he did as caretaker manager against Chelsea and Villarreal last week, managing a win and a draw on his quest to restore the dressing room's confidence. The surfer flag will serve as a fitting thank you to Solskjaer, and we wish him all the best in the future. Former Lokomotiv Moscow coach slams Ralf Rangnick after United move. Former Lokomotiv Moscow coach Yuri Saimin has took aim at Ralf Rangnick following his switch to Manchester United. This all comes after the German decided to leave Lokomotiv Moscow as manager or sports and development to become interim manager of the biggest club in the world. Saimin only wishes he was the one rocking up at Old Trafford before moving into a consultancy role at the end of the season. However, I think it goes without saying that none of us had heard of him before today, when he decided to use Rangnick for a bit of publicity, saying, via Tribal Football, "I look calmly, react calmly." Probably, the leaders and the coach should react somehow. Maybe call Rangnick on the phone. "What's going on?" He will advise Lokomotiv by phone, and Manchester United will be on the spot. In how many years will this new Lokomotiv strategy bear fruit? 3 years from now? My manager was not allowed to leave. How so? A person works, he must constantly see the players in order to advise. A person must come to work. I don't understand this manner. Maybe it's something new today. Lokomotiv was a champion, won cups, won silver medals, played 3 times in the Champions League in recent years. We spent 40 million and he left. The situation is very strange for me. I think I have the right to say this, because after all, in Lokomotiv I started from scratch. They have lost a true leader in the game, and he didn't spend as much time as he planned in Moscow. He wasn't to think United would come knocking anytime soon after the club gave Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a new contract in the summer only to fire him months later.